This is a Third Eye with Cyrus Parsa. We're here today with Ryan. One of my followers ended up meeting actually him, his wife, and his son. I was very surprised. They brought with them all my books and had read every single one multiple times. So I decided to have them on Instagram Live, and then today they're going to be on this show as well. Ryan, so how did you come across those books and my predictions, and what were your thoughts on them? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. So me and my family, we started watching Cyrus's information in 2019, right when COVID hit and, the lockdowns were starting. We were thirsty and hungry for information. So I ran across Cyrus's first interview with Carrie Cassidy. To be honest, I kind of dismissed his interview. He was talking about AI and COVID and, the lockdowns, and I dismissed it. I turned it off, didn't finish watching the interview. The next day, something just kept telling me to go back and watch that interview that you did. And that's exactly what I did. That night when we were laying down, getting ready for bed, I went back and watched that interview, and you were explaining COVID and the things that were to come in immense detail that I've never really seen anyone explain before. And I ended up watching that entire interview. I ended up telling my wife about it. And, as a family, we just kind of started following your information that you were putting out. We purchased your first book, Artificial Intelligence, Dangers to Humanity. And that book details, the research that you did on companies, with our son. In our household, we were kind of like telling them hey, to get off TikTok and stuff. But the research that you did on TikTok, it really kind of went into detail, the dangers of it, the dangers of what COVID really was, and, the mandated that were coming and happen. Just the information that you were providing and the detail that you were providing, it really impressed us. So we got all your books, we got Dangers to Humanity. And then we watched the video that you put out.
AI, the Planet of Humanity.
AI, the Planet of Humanity. That was an amazing documentary. The way that you kind of connected the dots and spoke on it from just a higher level, it was really impressive.
We talk about wars involving China, Iran, Russia, North Korea against the U.S, Israel, and Europe. And in that 2020 April film, I mentioned quarantines with nanotechnology and mandated vaccines, and that's everything starts from a real bioweapon, a virus coming from China. So all those things were predicted, detected, and warned, as you saw in the books written in 2019, and then the reports given to government officials and so on. But what else did you see? Major things that you saw that are predicted. How do you think, first of all, they were done? What were they? If you had to list them up, including the UFOs.
At the time, that was the thing. We didn't know how you were able to predict and then explain in detail everything that was happening. And, me and my wife, we would sit back and kind of just watch your interviews and wait for a new post that you would put on Instagram. And again, it was almost like a news channel that we were kind of just being updated by, you able to predict and in the detail explain everything that was happening with the wars. Right now what we're experiencing in this country and really in the world with conflicts and being on the verge of World War III, you detailed Iran, North Korea, China getting into a beef with America, Israel. And in 2024, that's exactly what we're facing.
And China as well.
And China, exactly. So in 2024, that's exactly what we're facing. So for you to be able to do that 3-4 years ago,
5 years ago, and then last year in the film AI Wars, Alien Invasion, and then if you look at it, I put down in writing exactly bioweapons launch, mandated lockdowns, censorship, conflicts, riots, leads to mandated vaccines and nanotechnology. Then later on, people have famines and then wars and global wars and extinction of a few billion people. And then the assassination attempts.
Yeah, that's the
it's in the book.
Yeah.
But also even the former president getting hit right before election. It was written in the book.
In the book.
A year and a half before it happened.
Absolutely.
So how do you think all that stuff happened? Would you verify that you read all those things and they were published before they happened in 2019?
I can definitely verify that. And that's the crazy thing, is that anyone can verify that. You know, you don't have to take my word for it. And I understand I employ everyone to use your own critical thinking, to do your own research. But Cyrus has published all these books right here on his mantle. Cyrus has published all these books, and they're in detail everything that we're experiencing now. Like everything that Cyrus has said, from the vaccines to the mandated shots to wars that we're experiencing, and he names the countries. He gives a timeline of all these things happening. And one thing that I definitely want to stress too is that Cyrus, he comes out at a specific time. You know, he came out immensely and put out a lot of videos, a lot of interviews, the books that you published right before COVID hit. And now, you know, with the new book that you wrote and then the new videos that you put out now, you know, you're saying specific things as far as the threat that we're facing now,
Yes.
which is World War III.
I've been literally trying to save your lives and your freedoms, and a lot of success was made. The information I put out reached billions of people, and I've never been against anybody, even the big tech and the world leaders. I've just I looked at the entire thing as a big chess piece and a puzzle, and I inputted the information. So when I give it the CIA director, the presidents, and different ones, so they can look at it, and the people can look at the public. So we don't have a civil war, we don't have riots to the degree that we could have had, and these global wars. But the issue has been that I didn't get the big platforms, although I was on over 300 podcasts. Other people who I warned to, and they dismissed it, did, and then started getting the donations and everything else, and they've been ruining the world, and they're still doing it. So why do you think that is, and why did your family come to support me and not just press like and buy the books, but you actually donated once $500, and then another time you're donating today? And I'm wondering why you did that. What did my information and the work I did make you want to do that? And how did it change your family's life in any way, shape, or form? I don't know.
Yeah, it absolutely changed my family's life. You know, again, during a time period that, you know, the world was going through something horrible as COVID. You know, no one really knew where to turn. You know, the news was giving us bits and pieces. You know, the information that you were putting out, it really gave my family an insight onto what was really happening. You know, we believed in your information. You know, the lives that you do on Instagram, you know, my wife, she's asked questions. You were genuine in your answers. And again, we're not rich people, you know, but we felt the need to support you as much as we could, because we believe in what you're doing. We believe that you're a genuine person and you truly, really want to help humanity. You know, you're not picking sides between the left side, the right side, Republicans, Democrats. One, that's genuine. You know, you don't have an agenda. So, you know, my family just wanted to do what we could do to support. And, you know, that's one reason why, you know, I appreciate Cyrus having me on this show, because I know you watch Instagram or you watch YouTube and you see people on shows, and, you know, sometimes you don't really know if that's a real person, if they're an actor, if they're being paid to be on that show. But I just wanted to kind of be on this show and just tell my testimony, tell my story, and say that I'm a real person. You know, I didn't know Cyrus before I bought his books. But again, after following Cyrus's information and looking up his information, I really employ people that are seeing this video, share it far and wide. This is a story that really should be going viral. This is a story that everyone should hear, because Cyrus was the only person. Now, if you can find me another person out there who did what Cyrus was able to do during COVID, then that's an argument we can have. But from the research that I've done, Cyrus is the only person with written documentation who predicted COVID, who predicted everything that we're experiencing now, from the lockdowns and unfortunately, who also predicted the global conflict that we're facing. So if Cyrus was able to do that, and again, he's asking for help to support him by even just buying his book. So if you can spare, $10, $5, or how much money you can spare, support this guy, support this man, because he's really working on behalf of humanity. He's really working on behalf of your families, my family, and civilization. I know that sounds, crazy, because, you hear that and you're just like, what? Like, that sounds crazy. But, Cyrus is a genuine guy. He's a genuine.
I have two questions for you. So I first noticed you because you were tweeting at me and people, famous people on the conservative and liberal side.
Absolutely.
And you were accusing them of not just censoring, but stealing my information and not reporting it before it happened, and watching my information. Then when people got actually mandated or vaccinated or got hit by COVID or bad things happened, then they would steal my information and then get donations by using faith or other things, and everyone will follow them. Something that is. And then why do you think famous people are on the good side? And you pointed that out. We're actually, I would go to them and give the report, and they'd look at it and they wouldn't report. And then once your families got hurt and you got locked down or you got mandated or you got hit by COVID, and then they would report, and in their own words, a little bit different, and make money off you. Across the board, it was every single one of them that's in power on podcasts across the board. I don't want to name who they are, but it's every single one that didn't have me on. Every single one. And they throw out faith and Bible quotes, and then the liberal side, they throw out liberal concepts, and everyone thinks they're good people, but they have hurt you and your entire families across the board. So I am curious, why is that, do you think?
I don't know. To be honest, I couldn't pinpoint one reason or the other. I think, honestly, and that should be really the question, if you're watching this video, that you should be asking yourself, is why has Cyrus's story been so censored? In regards to the reason why I was tweeting or messaging, big name podcasts or, TV personalities, it was because that didn't make sense to me. Is that here's a person who there's evidence. There's written, published evidence that you predicted all these things that we're experiencing. And on major networks, major podcasts, major personality shows, your story wasn't being talked about. And we will see information that you will put out, and a month, 2-3 months later, it will happen. And there would be no mention of your name. There would be no mention of your books. There would be no mention of the information or videos that you put out. And it just didn't make sense to me. So, again, in a way of support, I'm not big into social media, but just in a way of support, I said I have to reach out to these people for them to explain it to me why, one, they weren't having you on their show, and two, why were they censoring your story? And unfortunately, I never got an answer for that. But as we see here in 2024, your story is still being hidden. Your books aren't the best sellers on Instagram, on Amazon. So
how do you think I detected, and warned of all these things, from the virus, the managed apps, riots, lockdowns, censorship, assassination attempts, when they're going to happen, and the global wars and who they were, and 1,000 different things, including UFOs? How was I able to do all these things? And I don't just mean my Homeland Security background or my martial arts skills or working with advising directors of CIA or other intelligence agencies and working with people connected to DHS and so on. Why do you think that is? And what's the name of the show?
What do you want me to tell you? What I thought then, or
yes,
what I think?
Both.
Well, yeah. When I thought then, it was kind of funny because me and my wife were all like, Cyrus, alien? And then we were like, oh, hey, no, I don't think he's an alien. Like, is Cyrus like a time traveler? Is he able to, walk through different dimensions? Or, that's what we thought at the time. But again, after, our first meeting and after having conversations with you, and then, building a friendship, I understand that the power that gave you the ability to see what was going to happen, and the power that gave you the ability to predict these things, in the period of time that you were able to do that, we actually all have. We actually all have that ability to do that. Yeah. And you were able to do that because of the third eye, which is the pineal gland, which we all have.
I've had it open as a little kid, and it got very powerful. I'm the only human on the planet that did what I did. Mm-hmm. And I took on a lot of negative forces in order to be able to put this information out. But so I've been censored to this point, although the information got out for over 2 billion people, but people would take it and try to make it their own.
Right.
And it would hurt their families. So my question to you is, if I don't get viral, and if I'm not sitting next to presidents, should I be sitting next to presidents advising them? And do you think that their families in the world are more in danger if my story is not told and I'm not sitting advising next to presidents, as I advised the CIA director before the pandemic and so on? What's your opinion on that? And are these podcasters and big Twitter X accounts and are going to be responsible for it? And even my followers, what should they do?
I think, at the end of the day, I think based off of your track record, you're batting 100 right now. I think based off of your track record, if you're saying, and again, like I said earlier, if you're coming out now saying this is the danger that we're facing as a society, I need support. I need help to get this story out. I think if this story doesn't get out, I think all of our lives are going to be in danger. I think all of our families' lives are going to be in danger. Now, again, that's not me trying to put, that burden on you. That's me just, again, as a real person, in a real person's terms, trying to explain to the viewers of this video, trying to explain to the people that see this video, the severity of the situation as a society that we're in. I think everyone can kind of look at the news. Everyone can kind of see what's going on in society. And we all know that things aren't right. Things aren't the same how they used to be, 10, 20, 30 years ago. I think that if you're watching this video, there's a reason. I'm not a big believer in things happening, coincidence. I think if you're watching this video, there's a reason that you're watching this video.
So what happens if my story becomes viral and I get financially supported and I'm sitting next to presidents and advising them? What would be the likelihood of things being different? My predictions.
I think at least with my knowledge, a little bit of knowledge of things, as far as what we've discussed off camera. But I think that if your story is able to go viral, if you're able to assist in providing the information that you have to President Trump or, President Harris, I'm not going one way or the other. This is a non-political show. We're not saying one way or the other. But if you're able to advise, the leader of our governments, let's say that from that angle, I think we can minimize the damage that society is facing. I think, and again, based on our conversations, I think there's a lot more things that as a society we need to work on. There's a lot more things from society that we need to understand and better ourselves. But as far as the immediate danger that we're facing, that could take out 1 billion people. That's what Cyrus is saying right now. Cyrus is saying, if you look at, the last videos and posts that he's made, we're in a very dangerous position as a country. And this video definitely needs to go viral. Cyrus' story needs to go viral. And we need to assist them with doing that.
Thank you very much. I want to sit next to, host of CNN, Fox, and Epoch Times, and NBC, and sit next to presidents and directors of intelligence agencies like I did before, and privately tell them secret things. Mm-hmm. That way your lives can be your futures can be safe, because I've seen horrible things that are going to happen in stages. I just didn't use my third eye, but I used my analytics and my and all the research I did for over 20 years. So, but another thing is financially supporting me, because I'm not getting any income from anybody. The only thing I'm getting is somewhat donations and book sales, which hasn't been that much because I've been out of the circuit. But I'm back now, and I do need your support. And even though on X with a verified account, go figure, I had more play when Jack Dorsey was in power, and I wasn't verified. I still would get, maybe 1,000 retweets and likes sometimes in an hour or two. But right now, I'll see like in an hour, I only had like 100 impressions to 200 impressions, and I have a verified account. You see? So who is afraid that my story will get out, that I warned President Trump's circle viruses coming, mandated vaccines, nano-tech, and lockdowns, and different agencies? Why would anyone not want this to be known globally? Because I can advise, and it's not their fault because I use my third eye, right? So it's not like I said I had intelligence, which I did. I verified with my intelligence in China and other places. But the thing is, I'm telling you guys, your lives and freedoms are more in danger today in stages than it was, because there's bigger things, not just World War III, bigger things. So you can follow me on Instagram, on an X, on Cyrus Parsa 1, and you can Cash App, you can Venmo, you can go to Gossias.com. And I thank you and your family for giving that $500 and doing it again today. And I would love the Jewish community to support me. So far they haven't. I don't know why. I went to very famous Jewish billionaires, and I said that even there'll be hate even for the Jewish community when these wars happened 2 years ago. I have it in writing. Even reached out a couple of days ago. Yeah, you're right, Cyrus, but they wouldn't fund me. They wouldn't fund my movie at wars. So I'm trying to even help the Jewish community, but I haven't. There hasn't been one person from the Jewish community who has come forward to support me financially or in any way, shape, or form. I love the Jewish people. I love the Persian people. I love the African American community. I love the Chinese people as well. I have over a couple thousand contacts who are Chinese in my phones, and most of my intelligence networks were actually Chinese. But I have a huge Chinese following. But I'll tell you the big thing behind it. There's entities that control people. So if I can see the future and major things, and if I try to change that timeline, people will be controlled to try to censor my story, because then there wouldn't be those patterns of extinction, right? So I've seen this in my third eye. That's why these big podcasters were controlled by entities, so they don't have me on the shows, and these big Twitter and Instagram accounts. That's the truth, and I saw it the entire time. I was on InfoWars 5 times with that guy, right? Then he said that he predicted Corvo, but that was me. he wiped it. He censored it and wiped it from his database. People can't see it, but they're still there. So, but I was on Coast to Coast 6 times. Great network. Epic Times, NTV had me on a few times as well, 2019. So I thank them. And then Wall Street Journal was following me, right? They wanted to run my story and my expertise. I had generals around the president retweet me and so on, not just generals you hear about all the time, but people, stealth fighters, people in the Pentagon, and so on. So I've had a lot of support. Not where I get 10,000 or 20,000 retweets, but you get someone who just shows a little bit of looks and says something so low level, and they'll get 20,000, 100,000 retweets, or play a song that was just very stupid, even on Instagram. So I put the most important things. Hey, buy a weapon from a lab that's coming from China. A lot of people could have been saved, and trillions could have been saved. And the information did get out, but no one listened, right? And I didn't get viral. Then I put out that you're getting mandated vaccines and nanotechnology in writing before it happened in 2019 and early 2020. What happened? I mentioned the censorship, lockdown, and I got the UFOs in class, plus the wars and all the countries I mentioned. And I said, hey, go to Gossias.com, fund the movie so I can save lives in the future. It's like you're saying this is going to happen, and then you don't listen, and then it happens. Everyone gets scared. Then what can we do? What can we do? And then everything goes to normal again. Then I come out again and say, hey, some big stuff is going to happen. I'd like your support. And everyone looks at me like a deer in a headlight look. And that's unfortunate, but I'm telling you, it's because there's entities controlling people on both sides. That's what it is. So because these are very important things, and there's so much stuff I want to say, but I can't because it would be unbelievable. These stuff that I just said, they're all can be verified. And yes, how could any human do what I did? Because it's beyond what a human can do. And I'm not an alien. No, like you said. But I use my third eye. I use remote viewing and pineal gland. I saw millions of things in seconds. I did it many times. I could do that since I was. I've been doing a spiritual practice for the past 20-something years, and it becomes so powerful. You can consider it 100 times better than Mr. X from Marvel. And hence, the CIA director, when I gave him the report, he met me in person. He said in his entire 30 years tenure, he never saw a genius report like mine. And it's of all the CIA. So that means I can do something that all of the CIA combined, all their billions of manpower, can't. Okay? So yes, if I was sitting next to President Trump, he would no longer be the smartest man in the room. That's a fact. And someone said that's the reason I wasn't sitting next to him. But I don't think that's the case. Anyway, we're going to end it with that, maybe with a small joke. But I think he's a very smart man. He's good at making money. He's good at having people like him. I'm not good at either one. I can just tell you the truth. So I hope you guys may be viral sooner or later because your lives are dependent on it. And buy my books and donate so I can continue. It's very, very important. Please listen to me.
But I want to say one thing before we leave too. But again, all this information is verifiable. So I just want to, for the people watching this video, for Cyrus's followers, look at his books, buy his books, do your own research. I think that's very, very important because I understand you watch things on YouTube, you watch a video and you're like, I don't know if do your own research. All the stuff that Cyrus is saying right now is in all these books, every single book from the Great Reset to Dangerous to Humanity.
And the comics too.
And the comic books. The comic books, yeah, they're fun to look at, but they're deep also too. So if you do your own research, and for the people that follow Cyrus, if you're watching this, again, I've gotten to know Cyrus over these past months. Like, he's a humble guy, a really humble guy. He is living very modestly, so he's not asking for money to ball out or to go party or to buy, expensive things. Like, he's really trying to genuinely help our families, ourselves, and really the world. So if you can spare $5, if he has 10,000 followers, I think we all can spare $5. If you can spare more, definitely try to donate more. But, he really, really, really needs the help, not to live lavish, but to help to continue to make the books, to write the books, and more importantly, to produce AI Wars, the movie. That's something that is very, very important that he needs to put out for a special reason, and we need to support him. So I just wanted to add and finish with that from, again, a real person who looked up Cyrus's information, who has met him, who has done my own research, and I see that he's a really genuine guy trying to help us all out. So I just leave with that.
I thank you, Ryan.
Absolutely.
I thank you and your family.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on.
Most
Everyone,
definitely.
until next time, this is Cyrus Parsa with the Third Eye.
Thanks.
All right.